Welcome to our first webinar in 2025. I suggest we'll wait for another couple of minutes as I can see that people are still joining in. We will be with you in just a minute. All right, I suggest we get started, and whoever joined us a bit later will be able to join us as we go. So good afternoon, everyone, once again, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Anna, and I am one of the training consultants here at InspectRealEstate. On the panel this afternoon, we've got a couple of colleagues of mine. Their names are Alex and Will. Thank you for joining us today. They will be assisting you with your questions. So we're really thrilled to have you here with us today, and we'll walk you through the tools that may help you go to zero vacancy in 2025. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. At any time during the webinar, if you'd like to ask any questions, please use the Q&A section. This will be monitored by my colleagues, and you're also welcome to use the chat to share your thoughts and ideas. We'll also use some interactive polls throughout our webinar today, and this will be a good way for you to get engaged and also have a little bit of fun while we're learning some exciting stuff here. Also, if you have a couple of screens and you have an opportunity to do so, we suggest you log in into your system, because in this session, we will be looking at some very interesting settings, and having your data in front of you may help you get the most out of your time with us today. So in our webinar today, we will look at a few things to achieve zero vacancy in 2025. First of all, we will look into some key stats and figures that will help us to determine our starting point. Where are we currently at? Because if we don't know where we are at, we can't really determine which decision and which direction we need to go to. We'll also look at our inquiries and talk about how we can maximize the conversion from inquiries to inspections. We'll also go over inspection management and the ideal week function and some advanced settings of this function as well. And I hope that by the end of today, I will convince you that this is indeed a really cool feature of the system and it can become your best friend. We'll also look at how to communicate with your potential tenants, what you can do at the back end to make sure that your messages are set up to your liking and fully reflect the role of your agency and the branding of your agency. At the same time, we'll also have a look at how to prospect with IRE and how to use the Find Me as a Tenant app. Once again, Although it's a webinar and it's not one of our usual one-on-one training sessions, we strongly encourage you to engage with us by using the Q&A section and chat, where you can share your ideas, ask any questions, and so on. So without any further ado, let's get started. And to begin with, I would like to ask you all a question. What do your local market conditions currently look like? And I'm bringing up a poll. You will be able to see it on the screens right now. Please let us know, what are your current market conditions? So just to clarify it a little bit, the tenants market is when you, as a landlord, as an agent, are competing with each other to get the best tenants. But with the landlord market is a situation when the tenants are actually competing with each other to secure the best available property on the market. So how does your market look at this point of time? I can see the answers coming in. Let's give it another second. So are you currently in a landlord market or your tenant market? So I'm ending my poll right now. We've got the following results here. We've got the majority of people at the tenant market, which means that you've got lots of stock available. And we also have some people currently at the landlord market, where you have lots of tenants competing with each other to get the best possible property. Now, this is really, really interesting thing. But realistically, regardless of what kind of market you're currently finding yourself in, we've got different tools within IRE that can help you manage your market conditions. So for those of you who currently have the landlord market, and when the tenants are competing with each other, this is a very good time for the landlords, and it is relatively easy for you to get to zero vacancy in these market conditions because you've got more tenants than properties. For those of you who are currently at the tenants market, you may want to actually do some research and maybe even invest in some marketing strategies to make sure that your properties stand out to attract more attention. Have a look at the pictures. Are the photos you're using of a professional quality? Have a look at the description of your properties. Is it modern? Does it reflect the modern tendency? Is it the best possible description you can give to your properties? These are all these little things that you could pay your attention to maximize the outcome of your current market conditions. But as I said, regardless of your current market situation, we've got some tools to help you manage your workflow. And to begin with, let's have a look at the system settings that may help you to achieve your zero vacancy. So when we speak about zero vacancy, we speak about numbers. But do we actually know our current numbers? What do your stats look like? And do you know what your average vacancy time is? What is your rent lost due to vacancy? First of all, let me show where to find all these details in your IRE. So to do that, we will go to our reports sections in the menu, left-hand side. We click on reports, letting, and we go to our vacancy history. From here, we can see the results for all of our properties. As with all the screens on IRE, what you can do, you can customize your view. You may decide what exactly you want to see on your screen. So I made my selection to demonstrate to you how it looks like from the vacancy point of view. If you think that you would like to include any other details in your report, simply select those categories. Once you're happy, click Save Your View. So when I'm looking at this screen here, I can see all my properties. I can see when the property was listed. how many days the property has been listed for, vacant, and finally, if I have lost any rent at all due to vacancy. Now, the system I'm taking you through at the moment is a training system, so our test account. That's why the data here doesn't really reflect the true market condition and the true data you would have in a real agency. However, if you were to go to this part of the system on your end, you will see all the details that may help you to make your decision about your agency and about your workflow. So once again, I'm sitting under reports, lettings, and vacancy history. On the right-hand side, we've got 3 action dots. If you click on those action dots, you may download the vacancy report for a particular property. You may want to use it to communicate with your owners. Sometimes there could be some details that may help you to negotiate if you were to change any details that your owner would like you to use for their property. Right. So when you look at this property, at this report, you may also filter the details by the listing agent. For example, you want to see what's happening in the area of this particular agent. I can see how they're working, what has been happening, what's the average listed time for their properties, and so on and so forth. Also, we've got the so-called inspector performance report. And to get there, we will be going to our office reports and the inspector performance report. From here, you can view the report and you can see exactly what has been happening with every single person or from your agency. Now, once again, this is a test account. We are just back from the holidays, couple of days. So these all details here are at the 0 mark. However, you can see the details for the last 7 days, 30 days, and year to date. All the numbers here are clickable. If you click on that, you will be able to see what data this number is referring to. You may look at this report, or you may send this report. You may send it to you right now, or if you'd like this report to be sent to you automatically, you just have to set it up. Click Add Another Report Setting, select the email address you'd like this report to be sent to, date, time, once again, email address, and afterwards you need to hit save. The system hasn't got any autosave function. Therefore, you need to save all the changes that you are currently doing. Once again, another very cool report that we have is called Boss Report, and it truly lives up to its name. It can be found once again under the Office report. What you can do from here, you can view the report. This report gives you full details of everything that has been happening with your agency. Different requirements that were due to be followed up on, your key performance indicators, your email inquiries, and everything else. Once again, all the numbers are clickable here. If you would like to know more about this report, please feel free to go here and watch the video on YouTube on how to use the Boss report. Really cool feature once again. And once again, this report could be sent to either of your email addresses right now, or you may add another report setting and make it sent to you automatically. Okay, finally, what else we have? To see all this information, even more in an actual report form, you can look at your monthly reports. You may set them up in the way that you want to see your stats for a particular period of time. You may see stats for your year, you may see stats for your months. You may add different end of month calendar times. And from there, going to 3 action dots, you're able to view the report and then download it from there. So I strongly suggest you to utilize this function of reporting available to you from IRE, because it gives you all the details of everything that has been happening with your details, with your data in your agency. So once again, to know what exactly can be improved, we need to start with a bigger picture. So going back to our inquiries, do you know that the system actually has got stats on where all your inquiries are coming through? To get there, we need to go to Lettings, Inquiries, and inquiry sources. Now, I apologize, I have to move because we have a very clever room I'm currently sitting in, which turns off the light every single time that someone stops moving in there. So these are the inquiry sources that direct our traffic to us, direct our tenants to us. Once again, this is a test account, therefore not all of those inquiries are present. But still, you can see the stats for your particular agency. You can see different inquiry sources. You can select how long the period should be for you to look at your inquiries, what exactly has been happening. Now, if you are logged into your system now, I would probably suggest you to have a look at your inquiries for the past year by selecting all of your inquiries. And if you don't mind sharing, could you please let us know what was your leading inquiry for the past year? And I'm also going to bring up the poll for you to vote on. Just give me 1 second. So please, if you don't mind sharing, let us know what was your leading inquiry source in 2024. You may also want to share your findings in the chat. And don't forget, we've got our panelists waiting for your questions in the Q&A section. Feel free to go through your questions at them. Yep, I can see the details coming up. It's very interesting. So when you look at your inquiry sources, this is again some food for thought for you, whether you want to continue investing in some of those you currently have. Maybe you want to reallocate your funds and do more advertising on one of those particular pages. Or maybe there could be something else that you could do with those. Now we can see that the majority of the inquiries, for those of you who are currently online and can access the system, have received those from realestate.com.au. So it's not really surprising, I'd say, but again, it may well depend on your region. It may depend on where you are currently at. And let's move on. So, when you work with the inquiries, we always tell you to go to your inspection summary screen, which can be found under Lettings, Summary, and Inspection Summary. So what's so good about this screen is that it has information about your properties at a glance. It can take you to pretty much any part of the system, and this is why we recommend adding this screen to your favorites, especially if you are a new user of IRE. To do so, go to Favorites and add Current Page. So if you were and when you're going back to the screen, you don't have to go through all of those sections on the menu on the left-hand side. You simply go to your favorites and click on the page that you have just favorited. So when we look at our inspection summary screen, the most important thing to remember is that we are using a so-called traffic light system. And eventually, we want everything to be in green. How do we achieve that? First of all, and first and foremost, do we have inspections for all of our properties? Or do some of our properties sit in red? Do we have anyone waiting for the inspection to be organized? If we have any people waiting for an inspection for this property, this would be the first thing that we need to do to start working with these people. Now, let's look at different scenarios and see what we can do here. So if we have inspections available and tenants booked, this is the best possible situation. So we have everything in green. What shall you do? Just get yourself a cup of coffee and enjoy it while you can, because we all know this quiet time won't last long. If you have no inspections available and tenants waiting, so red and red, this is what should grab your attention straight away. You need to start scheduling some inspection. Now, the next question here is if it's just for one particular property, or do we have it as a bit of a trend happening? Why could be this happening? Is it the new properties that we have just added and haven't had time to schedule an inspection yet? Do all these properties being looked after by a particular agent from our agency? Maybe this person is overwhelmed, overworked. Maybe they're struggling. Maybe they need a bit of a help with that. So these are all these little bits and pieces that you can pay your attention to minimize your waiting time for your tenants and also go to your 0 vacancies. Finally, if you've got green here, so you've got an inspection available, and you've got someone who has inquired about the inspection but hasn't registered for the inspection. If we have this type of scenario, we may need to investigate further and think what might be causing that. Maybe the time is not suitable. Maybe something else is not working. So in this particular occasion, what I would probably suggest you doing, I would suggest you to get in touch with this tenant and check with them with regards to inspecting the property. How you can do that? As you remember, all the numbers here are clickable. These are all the details of this contact person. So you've got their email address, you will have their mobile number, you may get in touch with them from here. When you call them, you may add some notes and so on and so forth. So try and work with what you have in order to minimize your waiting time. Right. Okay. Now we have just covered our inquiry side. Let's have a look at our inspections. So what's happening with our inspections? And when we talk about inspections, the most important thing here to remember is that we have 2 types of inspections that can be advertised on your portals. It could be advertised as an open inspection. So what it means that when people come to your website, they look at your ads, they see the time of the inspections straight away. The good thing about it is that they can make a note of that straight away. They don't need to get in touch with you, and they pretty much go from there. So they look at the property, they liked it, they made a note for themselves. You will see them on Saturday or Wednesday. Hopefully, they will turn up. The negative side of this is that you don't really have any control of those inspections. You don't have any details of those people who may be or may not be coming to inspections, and you don't have their details for your communication. The second option would be to have the so-called book inspection button, which means that the inspection time will be visible to all those who want to attend the inspection once they click the button. Once they click it, they will see the available inspection time and they will be able to register to attend an inspection with you. Obviously, the downside for that might be from someone's point of view that it will take a bit more time for the tenant to register for that. However, on the positive side, what you'll get all their details in your database straight away. They will be able to receive messages from you with inspection reminders. They will be able to receive a message prompting them to apply for the property of yours. So once they register for the inspection, it opens up a whole range of further opportunities for you to get in touch with them, to work with them, and to make sure that they actually progress from your inspection to application, and hopefully they become your successful tenants and applicants. Now, when it comes to scheduling your inspections, you can obviously schedule an inspection on one-by-one basis as you go. You check with your owners, you check with your current occupants, you look at the schedule, you do all what you usually do, and you schedule the inspections. But what we also have available in the system is called an ideal week setting. We know that not everyone likes it because essentially what it's doing, it's letting your tenants, your potential tenants, book in inspection time directly into your calendar. So by doing that, you're kind of losing control of your time. At the same time, what it does for you, it lets you control the flow of your tenants to view your properties. So let me show you how to use the setting of an ideal week, and I will also show you some advanced settings for this feature. So to find your ideal week settings, we go to Settings, Lettings, and lettings, an ideal week. You start by selecting a staff member. So for that particular staff member, I have already got some ideal week settings, but none of them are currently working. Why? Because they are not activated. Let's say I would like to add a new entry. I go to 3 action dots, new entry. I decided I don't really want to be that adventurous, opening up my whole calendar for the week, but I want just to give it a go, and I'll start by opening up my Wednesday afternoon from 2 o'clock, let's say, until 5 o'clock. That's all I want to do, just to see if it's going to work for me at all or not. So I'm blocking this time in my calendar, saying that 2 to 5 on Wednesdays, I am doing my opens. I may decide if I want to show my properties only, or I'm very generous and can work with the rest of the properties advertised by my agency. Once I have set all that up, all I need to do first, I need to, come on, where is it? Where is it? So I need to activate it and save it, because if I don't make it active, the setting will not be working. So I'm saving that, and it means that from now on, whoever wants to view a property on Wednesday between 2 and 5 o'clock can be registered for this inspection. The system is telling me straight away that there are 2 tenants currently waiting to be advised of inspection times. So just by opening up this window of opportunity, I'm already opening up to 2 potential tenants who may become my potential applicants and finally successful tenants. So I'm going to say, okay, and the system will send out notifications to all of them that they may book in for some time slot with myself. What else I can do? I can set the ideal week on the property level. So the difference here is that if, for example, I have one of those properties that has been sitting there for a while, and despite my best efforts, despite all we do, it just doesn't get rented. So what we can do for that, we can open the ideal week setting for this particular property. To do that, I go to properties and rentals. I select the property I would like to open up on a particular day of time. I go to leasing tab, and from here, I go to ideal week. From here, once again, I can say that I'm happy to open it up every Wednesday, just to keep it in line with everything else that I'm currently doing, from 2 o'clock until 5 o'clock. I'm making it active and I'm saving it. So whenever someone would like to request an inspection for this property, is interested in this property, they will be able to book in the inspection time with me on Wednesday between 2 and 5 o'clock for this particular property. This is a very handy feature, and it may help you to lease those stubborn properties a bit faster. Now, we're doing all this work at the background, and what we have our system working alongside with us. Namely, what the system is doing when we are working, the system is sending out communication to all of my clients. So it is talking to my tenants, it is talking to my owners, it is also talking to my colleagues here, because I may want to keep them informed of everything that's happening. Now, let me show you some interesting settings for the messages to make sure that they truly reflect your workflow and they work for you and with you. To get to your messages, we'll be going to the menu on the left-hand side, Messages, Lettings. As you can see, we have different categories for our messages. We've got categories for waiting and not registered, for those who have registered to attend the inspections. We have alerts, we have cancellations, we have inspections reminders. Now, we also have email attachments, and I'll go over those in a bit with you. So let's have a look at the first category, waiting and not registered. As you can see, we have quite a few messages here. Now, to know which message you're currently working with, hit edit message, the area on the left-hand side will become grayed out, and that's how you know which message you're currently working with. The message can be sent to your tenant, to your agent, and to your owner. Now, don't get me wrong. All those messages, even if you have just started using the system, they work perfectly fine. They do the job. They will deliver the message and they will make sure that all of those who are registering with your company will be notified on different things happening. But we really, really want our messages to reflect our unique business style, our approach, to match the branding of our agency. So what we can do, we can edit those messages to our liking. Whenever you work with your messages, go through them, think if they work for you or if they don't. And finally, when you work with those messages, please, please, please make sure that this bit stays there at all times. It is called the agent app phrase. What it's doing, it is directing all the traffic to the web page where your tenants can apply for the properties of yours. If this phrase is missing, it means there won't be a link in the message directing them to apply for the property. As you can see, this message is this phrase is included by default even in the reply when no times are available for the property. So I would strongly suggest to you to make sure that you have this agent app phrase in all the messages of yours that you think may be relevant to you. Now, when you look at your inspection reminders, have a look whether what you have here will work for you. Do you have any reminders days before your inspection and hours before your inspections? Whether those reminders will be going out via emails or SMS. This is all very important because you want to keep your tenants informed. If the inspection is cancelled, will they be notified? It doesn't really take you much time to set up this message at the background. However, by setting it up, you are providing an excellent customer service because obviously this day and time, they want to be quite mindful of their time. They don't want to go somewhere where the inspection is cancelled. Finally, with inspection reminders, as you can see, the reminder can be sent to the occupier of the property. There's nothing wrong, nothing worse than when you come with a group of people and it turns out that the occupier of the property is not ready for you to show the property. Make sure you use this functionality of the system. Make sure it's working for you, with you, and guides you to your zero vacancy this year. Right. So we have spoken about our inquiries. We have spoken about our inspections and our messages. But what's actually happening when you are doing your inspection on the go, when you're actually conducting your opens? For that, we have the so-called mobile ROL feature. And let me remind you where it sits. It sits under your lettings, inspections, and mobile ROL. When you open this up on your devices, when you mark people coming through the door as attending, not attending, applying, not applying, please, please, please make sure you do that because all these details will be automatically pulled into the system. From there, you can send it to your owners to show how diligent you have been doing your work, how many people have attended the inspection, how many of them are planning to apply for the for the property. Now, when they come through the door, and by the way, when you mark them as attending, not attending, every single time you mark someone there, you are able to send them the post-inspection messages. Once again, prompting them to apply, checking with them if they like the property or if they didn't, if they're planning to apply, if not. If they're not planning to apply, even though they told you not applying at the inspection on the spot, maybe they have changed their mind. Maybe they would be interested in anything else that you've currently got on a roll. So you are able to direct them with all of your automated messages to your website where they can look at other properties that you currently have available. When they come through your doors and they say, yes, we love the property, we would like to apply, what's the fastest way for you to grab their attention? Let me remind you what we have. We have the to apply QR code that sits under lettings, applications, to apply QR code. From here, you can preview your QR codes. If you select the view where you've got 8 of them per page and print it out from there, what you can do, you can cut them out and stick those codes to the back of your mobile phones. So whenever someone is asking you, how may I apply for the property, all they need to do, they need to scan this QR code from your mobile phone, and the link will direct them to the web page from where they'll be able to apply for the property. This is a very handy feature to use. Strongly recommend you using that. You may use it at the back of your phones. You may select the 2 per page view and print it out from there. You may put it on the doors of your office. You may add it to your reception. You may add it to all of your brochures. Some people actually laminate it and put it on their cars, believe it or not. So it's totally up to you what you want to do. But this function is there and it is very, very helpful and handy. All right. So once you have worked with your tenants, with your visitors on the spot, sometimes we get enough applications, but sometimes something just doesn't quite work out despite our best efforts. And then what we can do, we can utilize the so-called prospecting feature of the system. So this is a very powerful tool within any property management business. And in IRE, we have a few different ways how you can utilize your database when looking to rent out the property. So we can prospect for tenants in different ways, but I would like to draw your attention to a couple of them in today's webinar. So first of all, let's have a look at all the prospects we currently have. Let's go to our lettings menu. From lettings, we go to inquiries and prospecting. Now, this is a list of all the tenants I currently have here. Don't forget, this is a training, tests, dummy system. So your system will have lots and lots and lots more people there, and it will be a lot easier for you to work with those. All the details here are just for the training purposes. So what I can see from here, I can see the names of the people, when they have applied, last inquiry dates, from where they're coming. Have they come to me to apply, or have I been spoken to them on the phone and added their details manually? Some basic details about themselves, what their maximum rent is, what they're looking for, suburbs they're interested in, and I've also got some notes. So from here, what I can do, I can get in touch with any of those. I can go to 3 action dots, and from here, I can edit the prospect. If they call me, I'm talking to them, I can get all further details from them. What I've also got here, I've got the property matches. So once I have entered all the details about my prospect, what they're currently looking at, the system is prompting me that I have got 2 properties that may be of interest to this particular prospect. My apologies. So what you can do from here, you may select all the properties on your list and email all those properties to this person. You may select just one of them and email only those. Or what you also can do, you can email them your whole rental list and let them decide what they actually want to look at or not. What else you can do? If someone is calling you, I'll go to the create new button. From here, you can also add someone to marketing list. As you can see, it will take you to the same part of the system, just a bit of a different way. When you look for someone, start with their phone number, because in case they are in the system, you will be able to find their details from there. So you will be opening the prospect, adding all those details, and so on and so forth. This is how you can work with your prospects from there. One little thing, or not little actually, one very important thing within the system is also called the Find Me app. So what it is doing, this part of the system can help you to connect with all the people out there who have got their profiles on Tenant app, who are currently actively looking for properties and who may be potentially interested in some of the properties of yours. To find them, I will be going to Find Me, and selecting a property from my list. Once I have selected the property, what I need to do, I hit Find Me a Tenant. And somehow no one is currently looking for anything in Dural. Let me try my luck with Castle Hill. There you go. So for this particular property that I've got advertised in my dummy account in Castle Hill, I actually have 33 real people out there looking for similar properties from there. Now, when you look at the affordability ratio for the properties for these people, the majority of them will be sitting in red. Don't let this fact discourage you. The reason for that is that this is their open profile, or rather say the information that they decided to disclose. And not everyone is really happy about letting the whole world know how much they earn. Therefore, you are likely to see that their household income is $0 or $1 or, something similar to that. What you can also do from here, you can click on the view and view their profile. You will be able to see what information they decided to keep open for the agents to see, what they're currently looking at, when they would like to move in, any particular details about the property or location they're looking, and if they have provided you with information about household income, their employment opportunity, employment history, or living history. Judged by that, you may decide if you want to invite those people to view your property or you don't. If you do, all you need to do, just hit invite, and an invitation will be sent to them to view the property. For privacy reasons, you will not be able to get in touch with them directly, so you will not be able to see their email addresses or their phone numbers or their personal details. The system will do it at the back end for you, and it will invite those people to view the properties of yours. If you like several of them, what you can do, you can select those people, hit invite, and all of them will receive an email inviting them to have a look at your property. Now, something else I actually wanted to mention, when you work with your prospects, and let me go back here because it's quite important. Similar way as you would be contacting all of those people from the Find Me app, you can get in touch with all of those people from your prospecting list. Once again, you may hit contact them. The wizard will pop up. And from here, what you can do, you can decide which way you'd like to get in touch with them via email or SMS. And when you click next, what you can do, you can select an attachment. As an attachment, you may select your whole rental list. The email addresses will be picked up by the system for you. All you need to do, you create your email. When you're ready, you send your messages, and all the people from your prospect list will receive an email with your whole rental role. So this is how you can use the prospecting feature of the system, and this is how it may help you to work with everything, with everyone that you have on your system and everyone beyond the system who is currently looking for properties in the areas you're currently working with. With that, we are actually coming to the end of our webinar, but prior to closing, I would like to ask you one final question for the day. And namely, we would be very, very keen to know what was the most impactful part of the webinar for you today. So I have opened the poll for you, and if you can let us know what you liked about the webinar, what was important to you, for you to know, we would really, really appreciate it. I can see that the answers are coming through. Yep. Fantastic. Give it another 10 seconds or so that everyone can vote. And let's end our poll here and share the results. So it looks like prospecting and finding tenants was the most important part for you here today, which is really exciting. I love, love, love this feature myself. I think this is one of the coolest things that you can actually do with IRE. Now, as I said, this actually brings us to the end of our session. Now my team will put a link in the chat for you to let us know how we went today. If there was anything that you liked about the webinar, please let us know. If there's anything you'd like us to improve on, again, let us know. And finally, if there's a particular topic you'd be very interested in learning about, please put it in the comments and we will do our best to cover it in one of our webinars this year. Once again, thank you for your time today, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, and bye for now.